to Michelle Gay's Science Teacher Classroom. In today's video, we're going to talk about stress.
Right, I gotta wash my hair.
No, there's no time.
No time! There's never any time! I don't have time to study! I'll never get into Stanford! I'll let everyone down! I'm so confused!
Jessie, hey, just calm down. It's okay.
Do you ever feel like Jessie from Saved by the Bell, where everything is overwhelming? You have so many things you have to do, so many decisions to make, and then suddenly you become so overwhelmed, frustrated, angry, confused, and you just want to explode. Well, we all go through stress. Your parents go through stress. Your teachers have stress. Your friends have stress. We all have stress. Sometimes stress can be good for us because it helps us to build resilience and it helps us to reach a goal. But there's also bad stress. Too much bad stress can cause so many problems. Well, what exactly brings on all this stress that you're dealing with? Well, it could be that you have too many things to do, too many things on your plate. You may have to study for a test. You may have gotten behind in class online doing virtual learning and didn't do all of your assignments, and suddenly everything has to be turned in for a grade. You may have football practice or a big football game that week. You may have to do chores around your house that you haven't completed. You may have to help your sister or your brother do something, or even your parents. And things could be going on in your home with your parents that bring on stress, or you could have stress just from your friends or from bullying going on at school or somewhere in sports. Many things that you could be doing could bring on stress. Sometimes even when there's a big change in our life. For instance, when my children were young, we had to make big changes and move from Louisiana to Alabama. Well, that was very stressful for my oldest daughter. That was such a big change for her because she was so settled in high school and she loved being with her friends and on the dance line. And suddenly, here comes a big change. And of course, she had to learn to deal and cope with stress. Sometimes something can happen in your family life, like there could be a new brother or sister, the baby could be crying at night, and you're trying to rest, you're trying to sleep, and of course you got to get up the next morning to go to school. Guess what? That can bring on stress. So many things can bring on stress, guys, but you know what? When all of that stress happens, it is not good for us. We have to make sure we take care of ourselves because when stress comes on, you can become sick. You can start having headaches, feeling nauseated, extremely tired, anxious, and stress. You begin to worry and worry and worry. And guess what? And when you become so worried, you become agitated. And when the least little thing happens, you blow up. Because guess what? You have too much on your shoulders and all that pressure is beginning to control your emotions. Remember, I talked about the parts of the brain, and we talked about the cerebrum, the cerebellum, and we talked about the brainstem. But there's a part of your brain that controls the emotions called the amygdala. And when that area of your brain or your hormones or chemicals begin to pump through, well, guess what? That stress changes your emotions. You're no longer happy. You're angry. You feel helpless. You are sad. And a lot of people get extremely mad when they're under stress. So I guess you're wondering, Well, with all this stress, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to handle it? We've had COVID-19 this year. We had to go to online learning. I don't have my teacher to walk by me and to help me out. I'm trying to figure things out. Our football game was canceled last week and I was supposed to be the starting player. I'm on the cheerleading team and guess what? I won't get to cheer this week. And so all those things are going through your brain, and your brain is chemically made up, and of course we talked about those neurons and how it's sending signals, but that amygdala, it is controlling your emotions, and you're starting to feel it. And guess what? You may be getting ready to take a test and suddenly you have a headache, or you tell your teacher, I feel sick to my stomach. Well, that is a symptom of stress, boys and girls. And so we're going to see how can we cope with stress to make things a little bit better. How can we cope with stress? Well, first, don't be upset at yourself. You know, we all have stress. So the last thing you want to do is to be frustrated with yourself. And remember that everyone is dealing with stress. And that stress is actually part of life, boys and girls. Next, find someone to talk to. Think about what's making you stressed and find a friend to talk to. You can talk to a big brother or sister. You can talk to an aunt or an uncle. You can also talk to your parents or your teachers or the school counselor. Sometimes just talking it out makes you feel better. Another thing you can do is to take a moment and find a place to calm down. Maybe go in your bedroom and just, take a few deep breaths. Breathe in and breathe out. And do that several times. And while you're breathing in and breathing out, take time and think about what exactly is causing you stress. What are you worrying about? Be positive, because guess what? This too shall pass. These things that you're dealing with will not last forever. But you can calm yourself down and get things in order so that you're not screaming and yelling at other people because stress you're feeling. Another thing I suggest is prioritize the things that you have to do. If you have a lot of things on your plate, a lot of things that you have to do, put them in order. Make a checklist. Write them down and decide what's the most important thing to do first, then second, then third. And you will realize that you don't have to get it all done at one time, and that you can get the major part done and keep working on that checklist until it's complete. That way, you're not feeling overwhelmed with all the things that you have to accomplish. Another thing that you can do to help you cope with stress is to make a list of things that are stressing you at the moment. And we're going to do an activity to deal with the stress at the moment. This is a simple activity, but it is an activity that you can take time and do on your own and feel some relief from stress. This activity, you will need paper and pencil, a Sharpie or a marker, and a balloon. First, I want you to make a list of all the things that you are dealing with right now. If it's things from school, write it down. And don't just say things at school. If it's not getting your work done, if it's you don't understand the lesson, or you feel lost in class, or you don't have friends, or something could have happened. Your friends stopped talking to you. You could have left home upset this morning. You could be hungry. You could have problems on your sports team, or you're not able to play sports this year and you're upset about it. Come up with a list of things that you are doing and think about it. Pause the video and make your list, and when you're through, have your balloon blowed up and have your Sharpie, and we will get started with the next step. Okay, you're back. Now take your balloon and your Sharpie or marker, and you're going to write all the things you have on your list on the balloon. And anything that you are dealing with right now, write it all over your balloon. You can pause the video, make your list, and then return. All right. So let's go ahead and pop, and I'm going to hold mine here at the bottom. And it popped. So let me see how it looks now that I've released all of my anxieties, all of my worries that I have at the moment. And when you get ready to pop, say, I'm letting it go. I'm letting it go for now. So we let it go, but when you picked up your balloon, did you observe what happened to the writing? Let's see if I can make this. The writing shrunk. It shrunk just like your problems are going to shrink away. This is one activity that you can do for the moment. But sometimes, even if you don't have a balloon, but you have some paper, write it on a sheet of paper. And, maybe like little small strips of paper, write it, ball it up, and get you like a little garbage pail and shoot them in the basket. And every time you shoot, say, I'm letting it go. I'm letting it go. And then do some of that breathing and calm yourself down the best you can. Did you see on that video clip, he said, calm down. And that's true. We have to calm down when we're dealing with stress, or it gets worse and we'll be like that little boy where the steam is coming out of our ears because we're so upset. So you're going to calm down by doing some of these techniques that I gave you today. I hope that this will help you and that this will keep you from not getting so worried about things that are going on in your life. But remember, stress can be good when you're trying to reach a goal. Like I work well under stress. If I have a paper due or a report due, I work well under stress. I can do that. Not everyone can do that. Some football players, they play well under stress. When there's the last play of that inning and they're trying to get a touchdown, some of them play really well under that type of stress and can perform extremely well. And so sometimes when you have stress, it doesn't always mean it's bad. But the one thing that you can do is keep everything in balance. Do something that makes you happy. Like if you have to do all these other things, well, what's the one thing that makes you happy? What's the one thing where you can go and do and it gets your mind off of everything else? Find that happy thing that you love to do and bring that in so that you can have balance in your life. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and that you gleaned some information to use to help you cope this year in school. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Thank you and have a wonderful day.